Bleak outlook for salt farms as revenue hits a 36-year low. And revenue from salt production dipped to a 36-year low in 2018, wrapping up a bad year for the industry, which is battling billions of shillings in tax demands from the government. I mean, we're just looking at the government and how well it has probably tried towards to making, the industry, or better yet, the market favorable and flexible for the dealers. It looks like it is not the case. Why is it that we're headed to this direction, yet we can literally sustain our very own economy? We have all the resources, but then again, we're not tapping into it.
I'll just want to read something here from on the issue of the maize from the chairman of the cereal growers.
Yeah.
He says that the Kenyan farmer has more than the ability to produce enough food. The technology is there. All they need is the support. A shortfall of 20% is easily manageable. And that is where the frustration comes in. That we've just talked of an ambitious project by the government to ensure that agriculture works in the nation. Then the next minute,
we're talking about them frustrating.
We are actually talking about a government that actually wants to import maize. So then you wonder, where is the disconnect? What kind of situation is the government putting the farmers and the businessmen in general in terms of ensuring that we have an enabling business environment to plant the maize, supply the maize and get the money, and also people to do business and pay taxes? It is very frustrating. So we don't want this kind of double talk, that at one point you want us to believe that you're doing enough as a nation to ensure that the environment is enabling for the businessmen. Then when you look at the flip side, it is a totally different story. The government is not doing enough. It is just lip service, no action. And that is where the challenge is.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, that aside, I think that is pretty sad. We certainly hope that it's addressed. But also there's another big problem right here. I think there's a story highlighted by the Business Daily as to, the events at the port and how, you're able to ship in your products and how easy that can be. And beauty farms now blame port delays for stock out. But this is not even a question of the beauty farms alone. I think this is this is a blame, or this is a concern that has been raised by different sectors on basically how they're not being able to, there's a lot of corruption at the port. There's a lot of, delays at that particular port level. So in your own capacity, CPA, I mean, how best can the government streamline the activities at the ports so that moving forward, Kenyans are able to trade, export and import goods, in the best way possible so that we can revamp our economy, or we can, just build and boost our very own economy? Because when we have these concerns, then it certainly means that so much so needs to be done at that level of the port. And we all know what plays out there.
Okay, delays at the port have been there, and again, it's something that I had a discussion with someone yesterday, that the issues that, like now, the issues that we're having with KRA have actually slowed down activities at the port. And the moment you take so long to clear your goods at the port, you lose as a businessman. That's why you have the issues of stockouts. But then I also want to mention that KPA has a new managing director, who is my good friend and my village mate, actually, Dr. Dan Manduku. And we know his capabilities as a manager, and we know what he did at NCA. Just yesterday, they actually did reshuffles of some of the managers, which is his first move since he took over. So we just hope that he's going to instill the kind of discipline in the employees and the system that works at KPA to ensure that we have more of a free flow, more of something that is almost flawless in terms of how we receive our goods and how we send our goods out. Because the port plays a very key role in this nation. And the moment you have delays there, the moment you have corrupt practices at the port, we lose as a nation. Because the cost of the goods that people are bringing in will go high based on how much they pay in terms of demurrage, in terms of, bribes to be able to get their goods out and all those things. But then at the same time, the multi-agency approach that we have at the port must work to ensure that we don't have fake goods coming into the country. Because as much as we want a free flow of a system that ensures that we have free flow of goods in terms of clearing and having them available, we don't want to have fake goods. We don't want to have counterfeits into the country, because one of the things that is affecting the nation greatly is counterfeits. Not the fake gold we have in Kileleshwa and the rest of the places, but goods that have been coming in that have actually led to closure of so many industries. Everett closed. Why? because they could not actually compete with the batteries that people are importing from China. And so many other industries.
Everest closed.
Everett actually closed. They handed over their goods to a Chinese company to manufacture, import to them so that they can sell, because they cannot afford to manufacture locally. So, and so many other sectors of the economy that are being hurt by the boom of counterfeit goods coming from China to this country at very low prices. And of course, people using the port in a way that they can be able to bring in their goods without paying taxes or paying very low taxes in terms of underquoting the cost of the goods. So they have to do a good job at KPA to ensure that, yes, we seal the loopholes, we generate income for the government, and people are able to have seamless operations to get their goods in the country. Yes.
Well, okay, that's interesting. And then again, even as time is moving pretty fast, there's one story that we cannot fail to address, because this is more of politics, and you know, it's always fair that we also address some of the key things that are here. But in relation to matters economy and how best our members of parliament have successfully been able to fleece money from the taxpayer. And now, members of parliament, let me just pick it up from what my producer sent. Salaries and Remuneration Commission to recover 830 million paid to MPs in house allowances insists the award was illegal. This is a story that has been touched on page 8 of the Standard newspaper. They say why members of parliament fight may paralyze counties. A crucial legislation on county funds is being used as a pawn in ugly supreme battle between National Assembly and Senate. I'm just trying to connect all this and for us to get to see what really is the essence of the legislations that we are we have today. What is the essence of us going out there and voting for these people into power, yet they're not going to represent our very own interests? This story is still also highlighted on page 2 of the Business Daily, and they say SRC renews fight with MPs over 250,000 house allowance. So all this is just a clear indication. Also, members ordered to pay back illegal house allowances on the front page of the Daily Nation. So basically just trying to concord this or to bind this in a way that we can now address how unfair our members of parliament are, and probably just get to seek your sentiments to know what you think this move by SRC is going to yield, to bring about. Are they going to be successful? Because we know very well that our members of parliament have managed to actually intertwine and even to twist the minds of the SRC, and they've been successful in these bids.
You know, if I had the ability to commandeer all the sewage carrying trucks in Nairobi and just head them straight to parliament and pour the sewage there, I'll definitely do that. Because the people that we have in that house are sewage stinking kind of leaders who only think about themselves. I mean, we had expected that we moved away from these issues of people using the back door to award themselves allowances. We have the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, whose sole mandate is to ensure that the employees who work in the public service are taken care of in terms of setting salary packages and allowances. So you have an MP you've actually elected on the basis that he's going to work for you. This guy, when he gets to parliament, he's given a grant to buy a car. He's given a mortgage to buy a house, which house we expect him to live in as he serves us. He's given an office in Nairobi. He has an office in the constituency. He's paid mileage allowance to move to the constituencies to, of course, talk to his constituents. Then he wakes up one morning and says, I need a house allowance. For what reason? You are already on a salary of almost 1 million shillings. You have so many in terms of perks. You need to see that we are actually losing as a nation. Our payroll cost, our expenditure on recurrent costs is so high that we are not putting so much in development. And I'm happy that the SRC have come out strongly to actually go to court. And I'm sad that the leadership within the Parliamentary Service Commission actually allowed the MPs to push through this. Not just to pay them 1 month, but to actually backdate it. Because each MP got probably around 2 or 2.5 million. So it's very sad. And we just hope that one day something will give in and we have the right leaders. And I can tell you, all the MPs we have are just the same. There's no good MP, there's no good senator. We can never say that this is a good leader because all of them pocketed the money. You've not seen one single MP coming out, addressing a press conference and saying, for me, by the way, I returned the money. because I feel I'm not just fighting the money. So it tells you that it's people are money hungry, power hungry, serious thinking, and we just need to do away with this kind of leadership. But again, as a country, we face the same problem. 5 years down the line, we complain, we cry, then when we go to the elections, we retreat back to our cocoons and vote for people from our villages and clans and tribes.
That's
it's very
much
sad.
Unfortunate. Yes.